championship in school history, first since 2014. They won the inaugural CFP with 4 teams. They win the first playoff with 12 teams. The Buckeyes on the tippy top of the college football world. Here with two-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden and former Louisiana running back Emory Hunt. OH! I just probably popped the mic right there, but that's okay because I'm excited. And what we saw late game was white knuckles, all right? Because let's set up the situation here, right? Buckeyes turn it over on a fumble. Notre Dame goes down and scores, right?
Yep.
They elect to kick the field goal. Then they force a punt. They score a touchdown. It gets hairy down there. First off, the decision to kick the field goal. What were your thoughts on that?
I understand the logic there by Coach Freeman because you want to put points on the scoreboard. And let's keep it real. It was a makeable field goal, and unfortunately they missed. And you look at where they were, guys. They were like on the 12 or 15-yard line, and it's 4th and goal, so you got to attack the end zone. Playing against that defense and they knowing exactly what you need to do, the likelihood of you scoring from that range was difficult. So taking the points, I thought was okay. Now, granted, it's different when you miss it.
I thought it was egregious.
Yeah, when you miss the kick, of course you get nothing out of it. But in terms of you thinking that it was egregious, you're on the 15-yard line, on the 12-yard line, right? I know you got to attack the end zone.
Make it a 2-possession game.
Yeah, but worst case scenario, you thinking you go with a high percentage call, we're just trying to attempt a 20-plus, 30-plus yard field goal and you miss it. And you ended up getting the football back.
Right.
Which makes the decision, extremely, alarming. And it still played in their favor because they still had an opportunity to get this game to go in extra periods.
Any normal passing offense, you go for it. But their offense is a struggle throwing the football outside of some big plays here or there. But I think that's where the biggest issue was. But points add up. I'm big on points adding up. And you're right, because at the end of the day, they would have had that opportunity to go and win the game
if they make the field goal.
Yeah. But again, because their passing offense was what it was all season, outside of the big chunk plays we saw later in this 4th quarter, these numbers don't tell the whole story of their passing game. That's why I feel like that's why they went for the field goal there.
So they score a touchdown, a 30-yard touchdown from Riley Leonard to Jayden Greathouse. It's an 8-point deficit, down 31-23 with 4 minutes left. Ohio State's next drive, 3rd and 11. And mind you, here in this situation, that Jeremiah Smith has not touched the football in the second half. What does Chip Kelly dial up on 3rd and 11? Man coverage. We go deep to Jeremiah Smith, 56 yards, and that essentially seals the game. The play call from Chip Kelly, that is going to go down as one of the greatest calls in college football playoff national championship game history.
No question. I love the call because that's what we call my man is better than your man football. If you're going to give us that matchup and you're stacking the box trying to prevent us from running the football, okay, we're going to take our shot. We believe our guy is good enough to make the play, not to mention with Will Howard just being able to hit a perfect pass for his pass catcher. So that was a defining play call, not to mention very, very aggressive, because if you don't get it, the clock stops. Notre Dame gets the football back with time on their side and with the time at their disposal. But Jeremiah Smith, to your point, he stated pregame, leading up to this game, if we see one-on-ones, we're going to take our shots. And if you see one-on-one Emory and Jeremiah's singled up and you have no middle safety, you have to take that shot. And I love the play call, and it was great execution by Will Howard.
What we talked about in pregame, timing is everything, and think players, not plays in these situations. And this was a situation where there was like, hey, our best guy against your best current cover corner, we trust him in this spot to go make a play to ice this game out, and they did just that. Just the fact that they went ahead and said, hey, Jeremiah Smith, go make the play. Make the plays that are there to be made. It was just a straight takeoff route. Gave him a little shimmy, but was able to just take off and show that speed and explosiveness, and he made the play.
Remember pregame we talked about who had the edge running back-wise? B-Mac, remember we had the edge, and you said Ohio State?
Yep.
It was Ohio State.
Yeah.
Quinshon Judkins had 3 total touchdowns. Trayvon Henderson was great. I mean, Riley Leonard ran the football. But outside of that, that was all they got from the run game. It was disappointing for Notre Dame.
Right, because they didn't even try to run the football with the backs. We were watching the game thinking about, well, why hasn't Price been involved in the run game? Because Price would have at least given you some health at the position. You know, you didn't want to run Jadarian Love, but at the end of the day, Price was still right there and able to do so and get to the edge and help you enhance your run game. So for me, not running the football, 53 yards rushing was more so about the lack of attempts, more so than Ohio State stuffing the run. But this was egregious offensively, in my opinion, for Notre Dame. They didn't bring the balance with their offensive attack. We saw what the first drive looked like. It was mostly Riley Leonard running the football. But if you saw Love not being able to be effective, go to Price and let him run the football, but getting away from it completely totally made them play left-handed, and that was a game that Ohio State was begging them to play. They did so, and they ended up winning the game because of it.
I didn't like the game plan for Notre Dame. We knew running the football would have to show up, and you showcased the ability with your quarterback in the first drive. He ran the football 9 times in the first drive, if I'm not mistaken, but we knew that was not sustainable, right? So, yes, you don't have a healthy Jeremiah Love, but Price can get it done. If you go back and look at the game that Jeremiah Love got injured in during the regular season against USC, guess who came in and sealed the deal and had over 100 yards running? Price. And we've seen what he's done given the opportunities, right? And he's a different style, but he's a guy who can lean on you, and he has a burst. I just felt like they panicked too quickly in this ball game and just abandoned the run. And to your point, Emery, throwing the football is not the vocal point of their offense. They don't have that type of quarterback. Riley Leonard is a serviceable quarterback, but the best thing that he does is the dirty work, right, with his legs. Throwing the football strategically through from the pocket isn't his strong suit. So just stay patient with the ground and pound attack. And I felt like that could have given them an opportunity to get back in this ball game with more than enough time on the clock to try to make it extremely interesting.
Yeah, Riley Leonard and Will Howard made history in this game. Leonard, the 9 carries on the opening touchdown drive. That was the most carries by a player on a single drive in CFP history. And then Will Howard completed his first 13 passes of the game, a national championship game record. And you saw the most critical pass that he completed was to Jeremiah Smith. And I take us back to that moment, because that was what the difference was in this game. They were 9 for 12 on third down. 9 for 12. When you see a team convert on third down like that, what's your response?
That they're going to win the football game because they're staying on the field, they're sustaining drives. Think back to Notre Dame's opening drive when they had their best offensive success. What happened? They were converting on third downs. They converted a couple fourth downs. And if you're able to stay on the field, the other team can't get out there and do what they do offensively. So Ohio State did a great job. And I thought the biggest X factor in this ball game was the legs of Will Howard. We came in talking about Riley Leonard and how he runs the football, but it was Will Howard's ability to run the ball that opened things up with the passing game for him. So he was unaccosted in the pocket, had time to throw, but when he took off and ran, it was decisive. He was judicious in winning where he was going to run the ball. And I thought his legs were the true story of this ball game. Big reason why Ohio State's offense looked like it looked until the last drive when they threw it down to Jeremiah Smith. But it was Will Howard's legs to me that really turned this game on his head.
To your point, 16 carries for 50-plus yards. And a lot of his running came on third down opportunities where they were just solely in man-to-man, and everyone had their back to the pocket of the quarterback, and he just saw a free lane, and he took off. This was Will Howard's, I don't want to say his best game because what he did against Oregon was outstanding, but I can tell you this much. He put together